finna get started. I am extremely excited for the first episode of the PvE podcast, starring yours truly, Pizzo Plays. Okay. Hi, Liv. How are you doing tonight? Welcome in. Today, myself and very special guest, we're going to be talking about Mafia: The Old Country, which a brief summary of this. It's a 2025 action-adventure prequel game set in 1904's Sicily, following the events of Enzo Favara, a miner/slave forced to join the Torrisi crime family after a mining incident. This is a narrative that chronicles his rise from stable boy, or mine boy if you let Cesare tell it, to loyal lieutenant, alongside a romance with the Don's daughter in the treacherous gangland rivalries of this period. This was developed by Hangar 13. The game offers a tightly directed story focused on the cinematic experience and period authentic visuals rather than a huge open world. And today, I am so glad to say that I am joined by the great Kale's father, aka Kale's dad.
Hey,
Again,
what's up,
let
y'all?
the people
How
know
y'all
what you do, man.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Great to be here on the PvE podcast. The first episode is what I've been hearing. Glad to be here talking about it. Yeah, my name is Chris with a K, baby. You know me, running laps, nothing like I'm in physical, mother lover, education, and we've become made men, I'd say, in this foray into gaming. And I'm just happy to be here to be able to speak on such a beautiful work of art that Pizzo and I have been privy to playing.
I appreciate you for coming back to the show for the first time as well. Now, Chris, going into this game, we saw previews at the Game Awards. We saw previews at different conventions and things like that. Going into this, especially with your experience with the Mafia series, having played Mafia 1, 2, and 3, what were your expectations going into this?
So funny enough, because we definitely had that Discord call.
For sure.
My initial thoughts were definitely like, oh, this is return to form. Definitely had to be like a return to form thing, because Mafia had gone from being a very linear game to more so open world. So it went from being like, the first Mafia is incredibly linear. The second one, they give you a little bit of breathing room. And the third one, you pretty much in a hot air balloon. You going wherever you want to go. To coming back down to being linear again and focusing on actually telling that story. So my expectations for this game, I don't want to say that they were like super high. But they were definitely like, my expectations were definitely like, this is going to be a good Mafia game. They're going back to Sicily. They're going back to the old country. So they're going to have to do this right. You know?
Facts. And with that being said, a lot happened during this game, both good and bad, for the main character, for the opposition. I just kind of want to know your thoughts. My only experience is with Mafia 3, and I love the character development in that story. I love the protagonist in that story. I thought the antagonists were very convincing. I just want to know.
Yeah, you thought so?
Yeah. I want to know, what were your thoughts on these characters, their arcs, and things of that nature throughout the game? And don't worry, this is a spoiler review, so whatever name you want to say, who you want to speak about, this is the chance to just go ahead and let us know what your honest thoughts are.
Them boys was definitely a racist in Mafia 3.
For sure.
I had no qualms with eradicating anyone in that first game, the third game, because I was like, oh yeah, you're racist, so I'm just gonna kill you.
Yeah.
But just again, to warn you all, spoiler alerts, we have in the arc of certain characters on here, I'd say definitely I have and will always hate Tino. Such a but you know that somebody's doing their job right when they do that. When a character is someone that's like hated by you, you know the person did their job right. So shout out to the actor. But Tino, he was himself the whole time. He was never anyone different. He never acted like he was anyone different. Luca, he became even more than what I thought that he was gonna be, and it made him like a martyr, kind of, you know.
Right.
Cesare, I'm not gonna say from day one, because there's always like a person that's real rough around the edges with you in these Mafia games. Like, hey, who is a mooka here? Yeah, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? They always be on your ass. But that always happens in the Mafia games because they're going to be on your ass until you prove yourself. And so that makes sense. But continuously hearing like Caruso, every fucking time I was getting into something, I'm like, hey, bro, I need y'all to reel back up off this word.
Right,
bro. Like, say, you know what I'm saying? Y'all saying this like y'all saying like wire back or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
Not wire back. Calling you a clanker.
Caruso. Every 5 seconds, man. I'm like, yo, chill out with that shit, man. But hey, but the thing was like, the people that were closer to you, it was always Tino, and it was always Cesare, who was always saying that. They were always saying that throughout the whole thing. The only people that stopped calling you that was Luca, Isabella,
of course,
and of course, you know, and you know Luca's wife as well,
Valentina.
So yeah, W Valentina. Thank you so much for remembering the name. But yeah, I think that like, I believe to kind of like get back to the question, it's Cesare especially. I will say like it was like, okay, he a little rough around the edges, and then when you start seeing his character and how he talks to women and stuff like that, and I said it about you know what I'm saying, I said it about Tino in the beginning of one of my YouTube videos. I said you can tell a lot about a person by how they treat other people, and you could tell a lot about Cesare by how he was talking about women or to women, or like about like the politics of the game. And I'm like, yeah, so because you're the nephew of the Don, you have been privileged to a lot of stuff. You talk to whoever you want to, however you want to, because you've been in a privileged position for most of your life. So you've never had to really worry about stuff like this. Now, Enzo, on the other hand, definitely getting things from the mud. I mean, literally, definitely. Definitely, literally, my bad. Because my boy was in, I don't know if you've seen, you know, when you pause it and you look at the write-up for the chapter?
Yeah.
In the first chapter, they say that Enzo got sold into the mines when he was 5 years old.
Yeah, by his pops at that. That's and by the time we pick up, how old was he? Like,
it had been 12 years.
So he was 17.
He was 17.
Yeah, man.
He was 17, G. Like that's insane.
I think they did a good job of putting a virtual like chip on his shoulder. I think that his motivations, I mean, at least especially at the beginning, right? Very justified. Who wants to work in a mine, especially a mine that treated them the way that they were treated, right?
Yes.
And so the characters, I liked Enzo. I think he made, I think he is a poor judge of character, I will say. But also though, I mean, I can't really completely fault him, because I think he trusted him by proxy. I mean, if you're putting yourself in his shoes, this would be all new to him. He's been in the mine since he was 5, so he wouldn't really know the ins and outs of how to interact with other, like these are basically your coworkers to an extent, right? Especially if you're outside of the actual blood family themselves. You are a until you prove yourself and become a made man, you are essentially just an exaggerated play cousin, or you know, just somebody that's on the outside looking in, like, yeah, we take care of you because it would look bad if the Torrisi family had somebody that was considered, you know, a part of the family, but they wasn't eating, but they weren't living, you know, they were skin and bone, and you know, et cetera and so forth. A reflection of that would reflect on the whole family itself. So
definitely, because you know how they're supposed to treat their own.
But also with Isabella, was it just me, whenever she first approached Enzo, I felt like she was trouble.
Oh yeah, I mean, I see her. I said, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I said, okay, I see you. I like that dress you got on.
Yeah, see,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm all with Enzo, you know what I'm saying, getting him some, you feel me? But it was just something about her. And then I found out she was the Don's daughter, and I was like,
it's raps.
This is not going to end well.
Yep.
It's not going to end well. If you know anything about the Mafia, there were a lot of arranged marriages that play into like the politics of things. I think of it like Game of Thrones in a sense, where, you know, these very powerful families have land that they control, land and businesses that they control. And so in order to ensure that your bloodline, you know, lasts X amount of years, and you know, you build that tribe, essentially, you marry your daughter off to
that revenue.
Exactly. You marry your daughter off to this family so that they can, you know, develop a relationship going forward even after you pass. So, and I think that's one thing that this game did well, was reflecting the period and the politics of everything. I'll get into Cesare whenever we actually talk about the ending and stuff like that. But for the most part, I like the protagonist. I could start to see the antagonist form as the story kind of progressed as well. Yeah. As far as story arcs, I was with it up until about maybe the halfway point, just because I feel like there were some important story beats that were taken from the protagonist. And again, I'll leave that at that, and we'll go into that here in a little bit. But in bringing up Cesare, for me, right? So again, spoiler, but for me, there is a big difference with betrayals, the level of betrayals, right? The whole time the story was playing out, I never liked Cesare. I never thought that Cesare was a good friend to Enzo. He kept calling him Mind Boy throughout the whole thing, versus Luca, who, you know, for better or for worse, I mean, he saw the potential in Enzo, and you know, he didn't call him Mind Boy. Sure, maybe he called him Caruso a handful of times or whatever, but you know, he was actually here for the betterment of Enzo, and so to get him to elevate him to a position where he felt like he needed to be. And I feel like there's a difference between a relationship like that or a relationship like if you've ever played San Andreas, where, you know, it centers around childhood family members like Ryder and Big Smoke, and then you turn around closer to the end of the game and you find out, you know, Big Smoke had something to do with your mom passing, and it plays into all types of politics.
It did?
Okay, but it plays into the politics with Grove Street and the Ballers, and then you had Pennyworth and the police officers that were involved in everything as well. I think that there's a difference between that level of betrayal versus somebody who has shown their cards multiple times, has stopped you and been like, you know, man, I see you at the top, man. Don't forget about us little folk. You know, you big time. You big dog now. I don't even know how to.
But we black, bro. We know that lingo. We know who that is when they say that.
Mm-hmm. See, I feel like if he had to hit Enzo with, I'm just trying to get like you, you know what I'm saying? That would have been a little
like
bit more.
That would have been like,
know.
Oh, okay, I see what you like. Okay, I see what kind of level you on. But nah, he wore his emotions on his sleeve because he's been in a privileged position his whole life. He's never had to really fight for
Nepo baby for sure.
He's never really had to fight for that because he's always been in like, oh well, I'm finna just get grandfathered in. And the thing is, when even at the end, and this is very crucial because writing and words are very important. At that end point, when he was holding Enzo, he says, just you and me, just like we said. And I said, we never said that. You said
we
that.
In Italy, you speaking French. Okay, all this we.
This is Sicilian, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Like, Yeah, and it's funny because like there are a lot of people who were, bro. I was watching some people's like reactions, and they were really shocked that Cesare did that. I said, why?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like we talked about in the Discord. I said this would have been way more shocking had Luca done this. If Luca had done this,
I
this
agree.
Would have been pain.
I
This would have
agree.
been
I agree.
straight pain. But they needed what happened to Luca to happen to Luca,
Yeah.
so that it would give Enzo. There's a thing like in filmmaking, it's called the button.
Okay.
So
okay, elaborate. I haven't heard of that.
So a person, say like you are a this is going like from act 1, right? There's a person who's like there's the hero of the story,
Right.
and they're like, yo, I'm comfortable here, this might be just like what my life is, and I'm just gonna deal with this, right? Then there's a button, there is an inciting incident, there is something that happens that then carries you into the second act.
Right.
Something has to happen that carries you into the next act. So for Enzo, the button that carried him from act 1 to act 2 was is it Gaetano, his homie?
Yeah, the one that died in the mines.
That's the inciting incident. That's the button, because they have been saving up money for 12 years.
Right.
To buy their freedom. They're very close to just doing it. So your character has to do something where there is no going back. So his friend dies in front of him. This is insane. Why did this have to happen? He goes out, Il Mero, F all that. We got to run the fade now. After you fighting him, there is no going back to your job. You cannot do that anymore. It's over.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to.
You gotta go. Yeah.
You either have to go or you're gonna have to die, and it's only 2 choices. And so that's gonna push you. So for that part of the story, and I believe that was the push from Act 2 to Act 3, was Luca's death. He needed something to show him this is not worth it.
Yeah.
You need to leave.
Yeah.
When Luca, my bad for cutting you off, when Luca was on the table, and he said, he was like, God forgive me. You could see that as him saying, God forgive me for all the things I've done. But from, you know who I am, I heard him say that, and what I heard and felt was, God forgive me for leaving my wife and children here. I will not, now I can't raise my children. I can't be there for my wife now. And that's what I heard.
Yeah, I like the whole button aspect of everything, and that's kind of why I understood why it had to be Luca. And I had a feeling whenever we were going to that little peace treaty meeting that was set up by the other families, and pulling up on Valentina and Luca having their conversation, and Valentina was like, I do not want you to go. You know how I feel about this type of stuff. I felt the breadcrumbs leading up to what was finna happen. I was like, man, I don't want this to happen, because Luca was my favorite character out of all of the people in this story. Luca was my favorite character. He was the one that had his hand out whenever old boy that chased me down from the mines found me in that little barn. Exactly. And pulled me up. You know what I'm saying? And for better or worse, right? Like I hate that he did it, but he killed old boy from the mines whenever we was knife fighting to the death.
I really wanted to kill him.
I wanted so bad, man.
So is that what you would want to rewrite? That's what because I know that's what the question.
Right. So that segues into the question, right? So if you could rewrite anything about this game's story, what would it be and why? I'm gonna let you go first and then I'll go.
I just want to kill Tino earlier. I wanted to kill Tino as Enzo. I did not want to kill Tino as Enzo. No, I understand why it had to be like that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to put a bullet through him. I wanted him to be, I said that he was Jafar.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put a bullet through him so bad. But the thing is, we know how these play out, bro. We know how these play out in real life. So seeing like, funny when you had brought that up, he's like, Baratina, Lord, I go to be back. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And as soon as I'm hearing him say that, like, well, again, we've seen all these movies, bro. I'm like, I swear, right after he said that, I said, you're finna die.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, they're gonna kill him. No, they're gonna kill him, my boy. Like, I was so sad, bro, because I already knew that it was raps for him. But the thing is, a lot of the rewrites I would do is really just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how people feel about Last of Us 2. I'm not gonna get into that. But when they're like, man, I would have, it's like, yeah, I know what you would have did, but what is the storytelling?
Yeah.
And yeah, so the story it went this way. Now, of course, after a man, and we done talked about it, after Cesare seeing all the stuff that you did, there is literally no way I'm going to get close to you because I know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen who you are. There's no way in the past 20 minutes of death and destruction that I just went through, this war path I just left, all this carnage, and your being out of here.
Right in front of you.
In front of you.
I just took the knife out of his neck. And look at me. You are nothing. And croaking over.
Said, you are nothing. And I was like, yo, this is how you felt about me this whole time, bro.
And then I turn around and you like, come here. It's just us. My friend who just impregnated my cousin and
killed my uncle.
Brother, why would I trust you?
There's no way I'm finna walk up to you. Because the first thing I said was, oh, you got the gun, huh? I was literally waiting for him to have a gun out. And so to lull you into, and that's how you know the kill was personal.
Yeah. Because
he lulls you into a false sense of, he didn't love me for shit, but he lulls Enzo into this false sense of security. And then, puts the fucking knife straight. Bruh, how could you not see that shit coming? There's no way that you didn't see that coming, bro. Yeah. So yeah, like,
very
I don't know, like, only, but then that's why I'm saying like the rewrite thing. But like you said earlier, bro, Enzo was 5 when he was sold to the mines.
Yeah,
he had to learn social cues and everything through that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and this is the only family he's ever known.
Yeah.
He had camaraderie in the mines, but the only family he's ever known, the only woman he's ever known, Isabella, to be with her and want this love that is so forbidden, and to be so engrossed in this life of like, I will literally do anything for this family. And that's how we feel as the player. That's how we feel coming out, getting saved by them, doing all this work for them, Karu, every fucking where.
Yeah.
Just, and to earn that respect, you're like, I've earned this. I've been through enough. Enzo has been through enough. He deserves this. So yeah, it's hard for me to say what to rewrite. Really, literally, the only thing is I would want to shoot Tino in the neck.
So for me, and I get wanting to shoot Tino in his neck. I think for me specifically, you can keep Luca dying. I think the biggest issue for me centers around Cesare specifically. I think that the way that the game plays out, and we're going to talk about gameplay aspects here in a little bit as well, but the way that the game plays out in its current state, anytime that Enzo is sent on a mission, he's sent by himself. So when you have to go to the villa, you're clearing it out by yourself. You're doing a lot of things by yourself. And then on top of that, when Cesare has been assigned something, a lot of the times as Enzo, you have to come in and intervene and either save the day or do the mission yourself. Even at the end of the game, before we tried to run off with Isabella, he was assigned a captain that he was supposed to kill. We ended up killing the dude that we were needing to, but we had to come over there. He was in the middle of a gunfight. We had to clear out the gunfight. We had to drive the car and chase him down and do. So
did you hit that rock?
The rock? Yes, I did. And I got stuck.
Bruh.
My shit turned sideways.
I knew I wasn't tripping, bro, because they had him do that last turn by that lighthouse, and then the rock just comes out of nowhere. Every gameplay I've seen, everybody hits that shit. I'm like, bro, the fucking rock just... How you just make the rock appear out of nowhere, bro? Berlizzi flipped over that joint like 3 times.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I had to play that mission, like that section of the mission, like 2 or 3 times before I actually got it down. And it was more so because of the driving mechanics on top of the rock appearing out of thin air. But again, so in order to improve upon that, I think that there are some things in the gameplay that need to be changed. I think with it being 2025, games work a little bit better when you have a companion, even if they're not even doing shit, right? Like, even if they're just pointing out shit, having somebody to spitball back and forth, you can also develop the relationship between those 2 characters outside of just cutscenes. And since this is a narrative focused game, I think it needed moments like that, so that in between these cutscenes, at least if me and him cleared out the villa and stuff like that, I could be like, yeah, that's my dog. He had my back whenever we had to go and save old boy that was locked up in that prison, and we had to go get his stuff out of one of the safes and stuff like that. He held it down.
Bruh, dog, I literally said, yeah, it's literally in my YouTube video, because he said like that we got the bandito mask on, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we got him pulled up, and I was like, okay, bet me and Cesare finna sneak in here. And then he said, okay, good luck, Enzo. I said, good luck? Where the fuck was you going? Like, yeah, I'm like,
he pulled up masked up to be like, hey, good luck, Jay.
I'm gonna see you later. I said, what are we supposed to be doing this together? What the fuck? Like, bro, he legit was like, good luck, Enzo. Pat on the back and shit. Like, what in the hell?
I'm like, go ahead.
No. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not wrong, because I'm like, narratively speaking, too, because it would have lended more towards me not thinking that Cesare would do some shit like that.
Yeah.
Because giving me more time with the character and having them, because bro, like for folk like us, I'm like, yeah, I saw that coming. Like, I knew he was gonna do some bullshit. I knew he's gonna do some hoe shit. I'm not dumb, because I didn't seen this before. I didn't been in this before. We didn't have enough of a connection, and for him to like not, like, he had to, in that minecart ride back to the mines, I needed him to be going the fuck through it. He needed to be really like between what he knew he was gonna have to do. Like, and like, why would you do this? Like, you know, we're a family. He's like, we were friends. And I'm like, you literally still just called me Caruso. You haven't been calling me Enzo like almost the whole game. Yeah,
man.
Yeah, so I think you're right about that. So that's actually a good little rewrite point.
So and that's what I'm saying. Like, if we have more time with these characters to build these relationships, that's what makes it hit harder. And so for right now, as the game currently is, like, Luca stood out because Luca was the one that was being the nicest to me. He put me on game. He was teaching me the ropes, taught me how to knife fight, which we'll talk about the knife fights, but he was teaching me how to knife fight, teaching me the ropes and shit like that. You know what I mean? So I have more of a connection with Luca than I do with Cesare. And maybe it's part of the writings, like it's intentional on the writings end, because as the player, they know what they're going to have Cesare do, and maybe they don't want you to get attached to Cesare, right? And then one last tidbit before we actually start talking about the gameplay. The end of the game, you end with, before the scene where Isabella goes to Empire Bay, Isabella is riding off from the burning Torrisi villa, or vineyard, I should say, the vineyard. Looking back at Cesare's looking back at her. I get the feeling that that's not through. Like, I don't, not Isabella per se, because I don't think that, I mean, Isabella, she got a little dog in her, right? She got a little dog in her, but I think if there was a DLC, I think that the child that survived all of this would grow up learning about her father, wanting to have family around, and being conflicted between my mom, who didn't like the family, and then my dad, who was killed by the family that my mom didn't like. I think that would give her reason enough to want to go back home, not only just to try and run it back with Cesare, hopefully it's not a knife fight, but to run it back with Cesare and learn about the Torrisi side of her family and everything that happened beforehand, as well as get his or her lick back. Because they whenever we read that, whenever that the note where Enzo was writing Isabella and was thinking about names, and he said Rosa. Yeah. I think all of these are just like little breadcrumbs, little seeds, just in case this does, you know, it's successful enough to warrant a DLC. I think maybe the daughter comes back, learns about different things, and we kind of see how the after effects of Tino dying, Don Torrisi dying, well, pretty much damn near every Don in this game, from the beginning of the game is dead. But you get to see the fallout and how things how Cesare ends up, you know, either making a name for himself or not. You know what I mean? And then also while out there, you get to see, you know, Rosa get her lick back and all of that. Now, transitioning into the gameplay.
Yeah.
What makes a game good for me? Especially with how short and compact and like neatly, you know, in a bow this game is, right? Is replayability. If I'm not given a choice, which, you know, through all of these narratives, I mean, or throughout these cutscenes, there are important things happening that you don't get to choose. And I'm not saying this game needs to be that. I don't think that that's ever been in any Mafia game. So
I don't think a Mafia game needs to.
That's fine, right? But with the gameplay specifically, I think we had all of maybe 6 different weapon types. And the enemy types, I think there was a sniper type, there was the standard, you know, either rifle or pistol shooter, and then you had the shotgunner that would run up to you and try to shoot you with the shotgun. And I guess that's kind of like the heavy, but that's pretty much it. And then the stealth encounters throughout the story, I felt were they were relatively easy.
Especially because some of them you didn't have to be stealthy.
Yeah, exactly. So with all of this, and this is all of my opinion, right? But with how the combat and stealth encounters played out, along with the weapon variety and the boss fight mechanics, you having all of, you know, 4 or 5 buttons to kind of choose from to, you know, knife fight somebody, right? Yes. What did you think about the gameplay portion as a whole, right? Touching on all of these different aspects.
So when it came to the gunplay, I was waiting to get to the gunplay.
Yeah.
And we get to that spot with Cesare and Luca, and I'm like, oh the gunplay is there. I like it. It feels very solid, but also like this is a dude who has never had to do this before, and now he is having to. So when you're missing certain shots and stuff like that, I'm like, I get it. You've never had to do this before.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I knew you was gonna get on the knife fights, but so when it's come to all the Mafia games as well.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been like, oh, when you got to get this dude, it's a shooting gallery.
Okay.
It was pretty much like that last part with Cesare where y'all had to run down on the dude that Cesare failed.
Right. And
you had to run down. And funny enough, in that mission, when you get down to the lighthouse, if you kill that dude, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
You just kill him, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's over with. Now let's wipe out the rest of these dudes, and then we can leave. But you know me, I'm down for the bloodshed. So I was making everybody up until I got a clear shot on him, and then took him out of there. But that's usually what it is. It is a shooting gallery. Okay. And so I feel like they did the knife fight specifically because, one, this is how people used to do it.
Okay.
This is how they used to do it. Even watching like some of the mafiosos reacting to Mafia the Old Country, they were like, yeah, this is actually very accurate. This is how we used to settle things. And so I'm thinking that they wanted to be very authentic in their approach to it. And even though for us, and this is what I'm thinking that it is for you because of how you talk about it, I think that the knife fights could be like, oh, this is kind of anticlimactic because it feels like I'm not really doing too much. I'm maybe parrying here, I'm maybe dodging here, and like he has maybe like a little bit of a mix up right here, but I can kind of get around it, and I can definitely understand that. And I'm not even saying that you're wrong, because we've had but remember, we didn't have boss fights that just be quick time event.
True.
But I think coming from games like, which is kind of hard to not compare them because of like their status in gaming, coming from games like God of War, where we got epic. I mean, no matter what you're doing, it seems like it's done in epic fashion. We kind of have to ground ourselves back in what can you do in a Mafia boss fight? Shoot him. That's gonna be it. Okay, great. I finally got to the dude. Bullet really fast. It's over. So which one is more underwhelming? You having a very personal knife fight with this dude, or you shooting him once and now he's dead?
So my counterpoint to that would be if you look at a game like The Last of Us 1, where that section when Ellie was captured, but the boss fight was between her and David in that restaurant. And they kind of did that with Isabella and Tino.
I was like, Isabella and Tino,
You hide for a little bit and you have to wait for your opportunity to strike. I felt like that was a welcome change because every boss fight up until that point was a knife fight. Now, speaking specifically about the knife fights in general, I would say this game would benefit if, let's say, each Don or each boss at least had their own specific move set that you had to learn, right? Not in the sense of like, okay, now this is getting into like Souls territory or something like that, where it's just like an endless stream and it's hardly ever your turn. But if there was enough of like, okay, and even because there were knives that had passive abilities and things of that nature, right? So even if there was maybe like a weapon that worked better against a certain boss, or a specific move that would work better against a specific boss, that would make it a little bit more challenging, because I felt like I could approach every boss the same way, just walk in and spam, stab, and then maybe dodge a little bit, stab, and then maybe parry, swipe, and it got really repetitive really fast. So I think that this game's boss fights, the knife boss fights, if you're going to have everybody essentially use the same weapon in order to avoid it being stupid, because people would literally drop guns to knife fight to the end, which and of course we're in a different era, and back then they settled everything through knife fights. What is stopping me from upping my pistol and just ending this shit right here and right now?
Honor. Literally honor. Literally that's what it was. That's because remember when Messina was like, hey, and turn around, Enzo, and he had the freaking double barrel shotgun to you. I was like, damn, we are kind of screwed. I'm like, oh, so this is probably the Deus Ex Machina, where what I'm saying, folks gonna show up, hey, put the gun down, what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking gonna happen. But he was like, Enzo said, I don't think so. Pull out the freaking switchblade, and bro threw his gun down, because it's like, okay, so because of the era of time that we're in, it's like, yo, are you actually a man, or are you just gonna like pull the trigger? So Messina said, all right, bet, I'm a man for real. I'm a man about mine. This is what I'm gonna do. So I was like, yeah, because in Atlanta, no, you getting shot. You actually got shot. He didn't even say nothing to you in Atlanta. Yeah. He already shot you in the back. Yeah. And you dying. So, go ahead.
You know what the whole honor thing kind of reminds me of is Ghost of Tsushima, where him and his uncle were beefing about how he approached different things. He wanted somebody, it had to be a sword fight. Like you had to look a man in his eyes and duel to the death versus.
I was telling him to shut the fuck up the whole time. Because I'm going against a fucking army and you haven't been doing shit but getting captured. So you can shut the fuck up because you haven't been doing shit but being captured.
True. Very, very true. You've been sitting in the castle pointing at people where to go. You ain't been in the field. Yeah, you ain't been saving, liberating villages and getting the support of people. Yeah, exactly.
Chill out, bro. You over here, you get yapping, bro. You in here, you motor mouthing, you jabberjawing this motherfucker, bro. Like I'm the one who's been out. Like, how you think I saved you?
Exactly.
Bro, did you not see when we started the game? Did you not see what happened to that man? Oh, what happened to that? Did you not?
Yeah.
Did you forget what happened to him?
That man's head rolled, brother.
Bro threw oil on that man and set him on fire and then cut his head off. You think that they playing fair out here? You want me to play fair out here? Are you daft?
You know, he thought you ran the ones with literally everybody in that area until he got to you.
you come in first. Yeah, they got archers everywhere and
like
shit.
A goddamn like a pokey battle and shit. We walk around in the glass.
With the fucking sword. Hell no, that's not what happened, bro. I had to blow this motherfucker up. I had to throw a shuriken at this dude. I hit this motherfucker with an arrow. I had to go around like the Avatar and learn all 4 types of fuck you up so I can save you. And now I save you and you over here complaining about how I did it. Bitch, die.
You mad you still alive.
You mad you alive because I came to die. Die faster. When we were able to save him, I felt like that shit was too easy. I said, hold on, bro. You must have snitched. Because ain't no way I was able to just save you this easily.
Yeah, true.
This don't make no sense.
So, okay. With that being said, right? Because we got really back to Mafia.
Yeah.
So,
or forward since the Samurai's in the past.
Right. So, he's stupid. So, what do you think that this game did well? And then also, do you think that this package, this Mafia game pushed the franchise forward?
Oh, absolutely. The reason why I say that this one pushed Mafia forward is because there were a lot of people that were really mad that Mafia 3 was a black dude. They were excruciatingly mad that it was Lincoln Clay. Yeah. And I was like, why? I'm like, this is a real Mafia story. And they tried to make it seem like, oh, they're just trying to pander to black people. And I'm like, no, the black mob was real. Why do y'all keep trying to erase history? Like, these were real people, that were like in this line of work. Yeah, like, you don't think that the Mafia rubbed off on anything? Have you ever seen a corporation in your life? So like, in Mafia, when you had said earlier too, you said you like Enzo. Yeah. I like Enzo a lot. I love Vito Scaletta. Okay. Which is why I'm telling you have to play 2. Yeah. Okay. One showed that Mafia could be like, we can really tell these stories through gaming. 2 up the ante in an insane way. If we had done a Mafia 3 and the main character was a white dude, there would have been no complaints.
Not at all.
You already know. There would have been no complaint. I mean, literally one of the biggest things was, oh, you can kill KKK members? Why don't we allow us to kill Black Lives Matter protesters? I said, that doesn't make any sense. What are we talking about? So you're comparing a literal terrorist organization that would tie people up to the back of their cars and drive, I mean, literally just to do this because they're black. They would tie people to the back of their cars. They would go to people's houses, kill their families, drive them, and drag them until their body parts were like everywhere.
Across the road, yeah.
You're comparing that to a person protesting, not killing us.
But see, to them, that's the same. It's literally the same thing. Anytime they bring up BLM, they automatically go to the fires and exclamate, all this kind of like things that you would rule as like riot and anarchy and stuff like that. When I believe they said it was either 92 or 98% of all BLM protests were peaceful. But you can't tell that to them. They watch a specific news channel and with a specific agenda. Exactly, with a specific agenda. And so they want to make as many comparisons as possible to try and hit you with a whataboutism. And it's quite literally not the same thing.
You cannot compare me standing outside, because I don't know if you know this, Pizza, but I went viral for protesting. Like that actually happened.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually crazy.
I actually didn't see that.
If I show you the picture, you probably be like, I've seen this picture. Yeah, I went viral for protesting at one point. It's kind of crazy. Okay. And so you're comparing me marching with a sign to 6 to 8 hooded individuals going into someone's house and killing their whole family because they look different. That's what you are. That's the comparison that you're trying to draw. That's idiotic to me, but you know, so that's why we have more sense. But yeah, like I said, to reel it back in, of course, if Mafia 3 had a white dude, there would have been no complaints.
Yeah.
But because they went ahead and were like, yo, we want to show what this story is. We want to actually flesh this out. And they're like, oh, they made it all white man bad, white man bad. Have you read a history book, bro?
No, they're trying to get rid of history books, but this is quickly going to turn.
You're right.
This is quickly going to turn into a podcast about something it's not. So, but yeah, no, I definitely understand. I definitely agree. But you said that this did push it forward.
I think it did push it forward because I mean, I literally watched somebody reacting to it. And they were like, yeah, man. They was like, yeah, Mafia 1. They said, man, I love the old country because like Mafia 1 was great, Mafia 2 was amazing, you know, and now this one. I said, now this one?
Right.
Right. I said, all right, bro.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that? So now because they've like kind of gripped that fan base back by going back to the beginning. At first, I thought Mafia the old country, they was gonna let you customize your own person, but understandable. I don't know if you've ever played the Godfather games. You were able to customize your own person both games. So you know what I'm saying? I was my tone in a 3-piece.
A 3-piece suit.
Mocking people up, you know what I'm saying? But when it came to like the Mafia series, I said, okay, so we have a designated person. It's Enzo. And I think they did a phenomenal job showing what Sicily was, how beautiful this place is. And of course, you know, the DLC that is coming out is they have the whole open world. They're going to have the open world stuff that we can all do. They said they're going to have more stuff going around the towns and stuff like that. And I'm very happy about that. But I definitely think that this pushed the franchise forward because, and it's kind of funny because you're asking me this question, Slick, because you can't answer it. And that's not even a diss, y'all. That's not a diss. It's just because I've played all of them. So like I would be able to see and notice the comparisons of all of them to this last one. So yeah, I absolutely think that they did do a great job of this.
Okay. So with that being said, all things considered, you know, the quality of the cinematics, the voice acting, the soundtrack, and as well as the boss fights, the gameplay, things that were at our fingertips, what would you give this game 1 out of 10?
1 out of 10. I'm feeling a light to decent 7.
No, please.
I'm definitely feeling I definitely feel like a 7.
Okay.
I'll give it like a 7 because you know, there are some points of the game that, and you know, this could change because of the open world part coming out, but I've definitely wanted to explore Sicily more. Yeah. So when I get to do that, this will probably change a little bit, but I want to give it like a strong 7 because I think the characters, I mean, they are portrayed so well. I love the gameplay. I can understand the gameplay loop of the knife fights being a little bit repetitive and also a little bit underwhelming. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this game, and I'm glad that it's the next installment in the Mafia series.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm closer to where you are. But I ended up falling back to a 6, and this is I'm going to explain why. Okay, a 6 is not bad. A 6 is still the average. 5 is average. 6 is above average, right? And I think that this game relies heavily on the quality of the cinematics, which again, the quality of the voice acting, the animation, the graphics, they did a great job with the presentation of the game and the presentation of the story, minus a couple of story beats, but I do have to take those story beats that I would like to change into consideration, as well as feeling that the boss fights got a little repetitive. They didn't do enough within the boss fights to make each encounter unique enough. And then also with the combat encounters and the stealth encounters, I do feel like they maybe could have given you a couple more tools to enhance the stealth experience, or at least make the AI a little bit more challenging. But I will say, this is a 6 that I had a good time with. I think that and this is coming from me as I've only experienced Mafia 3, right? So I would say if you are into experiences that are primarily story driven, but maybe you're newer to gaming, or maybe you are maybe not as skilled, right? I feel like that you could jump into this game, especially with it being an anthology thing where, you know, maybe there's a few connective tissues here and there, but you don't have to play Mafia 3, 2, or 1 to know, or, you know, get behind Enzo or dislike Don Torrisi or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I think that this would be a very good entry point for somebody who is new to the Mafia series, or if they are new to gaming. And so, and then also I have to take into consideration that this is a $50 game. They're not charging $70, $80, right? So you're getting your money's worth. You're getting a great, a very high-end quality story and some gameplay mechanics, as well as, aside from, like, you know, like a decision-based game where a majority of it is quick time events, right? You actually get to go out, explore a little bit, and see the level designs and things like that. So, but yeah, I'm landing on about a 6. It might change because I do want to go to Mafia 1 and 2 and experience those and see if, you know, maybe I'm higher up on the old country, given, you know, how the older games kind of play out as well. But yeah, I'm landing on a 6 for me. So yeah, it sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Yeah, it was a very good game. I had like a great time playing through this. Like you said, that cinematic part of the game, when this game went from cutscene to combat, fire. The transitions were always very, very well done in every part of the game to me. But yeah, definitely, please, like, if you play any other Mafia, you have to play
Mafia 2. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Chris, I greatly appreciate you for taking the time out to join me on the first episode of the PvE podcast, man. Listen, let the people know where they can find you. If you have anything coming up that you're excited about, what is the latest with Kale's father?
Well, one, thank you for allowing me to be on the episode, brother. I greatly appreciate you even taking the time out to contact me and want me to be on here talking with you gaming. But you know how our gaming conversations go, and we could talk forever, but I know you got other things to do, brother. I'll cut it here by saying, y'all, I'm Kale's dad, and I play the game. I do the clickety clacks. Sometimes I even do the ribbity raps. I am also a musical artist. The next stuff coming up for me, 2 of the biggest titles that are about to come out, man. Silk Song is coming out in a couple hours.
Hey.
And I'm not gonna cap to y'all. I'm probably gonna start stream at 8 a.m. because that's when it comes out. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. So that's when it comes out. So that's probably what's gonna happen in the next couple hours. Also, I have been partnered with Borderlands, and so I'm gonna get the game early. You know what I'm saying? We're getting that early, so we're gonna be playing that as well. But Silk Song is definitely gonna get played to death. That is gonna be the only thing we're doing tomorrow. That's it. So strap in. I hope you like Metroidvanias. That's what's going on. But y'all can find me at Kale's Dad. I'm Kale's Dad literally everywhere, except for Twitter. It's _ Kale's Dad. Unfortunately, because this other person made an account called Kale's Dad, and they've tweeted really, really crazy stuff, which makes me very sad. So yeah, just look for my face and you'll find me, bro.
Okay. All right. Well, again, we appreciate you for being here. Until next time, man, you have an amazing night. And then also make sure you check him out on Twitch at twitch.tv/KelsDad. He's going to be streaming Silk Song ASAP, sounds like. So congratulations on everything. We are rooting for you, brother, and you have an amazing night, okay?
Thank you, brother. You as well, man. Appreciate it.